my people, it's me, Anja. My pronouns are she and her, and welcome back to my channel for a new recent reads video, because April has indeed improved as a reading month. So, the first book on this list is called Forget Me Not. This book is a YA sapphic contemporary following a young Asian sapphic main character as she is navigating losing 2 years of her life, which includes not remembering anything about her girlfriend or their relationship at all. I like this book, but I didn't completely love it. I had low expectations for this book because this author is written by one of the co-authors of She Gets the Girl, but the one who wrote the perspective that I liked less than the other perspective, if that makes any sense. I rated this book 3 out of 5 stars because, first of all, amnesia isn't really my favorite storyline, and it felt predictable. You know what I mean? I didn't really enjoy the middle of the story because it felt boring, but the beginning and the end were pretty and lyrical, and I enjoyed the romantic relationship for what it was. Their chemistry felt natural and everything, and the family dynamics were authentic. The friendships made sense and everything. It's just that overall, the plot wasn't as engaging as it could have been because I knew how this book was going to end from the beginning, if that makes any sense. So anyway, overall, I rated this book 3 out of 5 stars, so take that as you will. The next book on this list is called Drew Leclair Crushes the Case. For those who don't know, this book is a middle-grade contemporary sequel to Drew Leclair Gets a Clue, which I really enjoyed last year. So naturally I put this book on my April TBR, but unfortunately this book just didn't live up to those expectations. And I think for me, I was more interested in this sequel in the mystery aspect than her family relationships, whereas in the first book I was captivated by the mystery, but I was more interested in her family relationships. I don't know, maybe in this book the mystery just seemed more prominent. I don't know if that's really the case, no pun intended, but basically the plot was intriguing and it was engaging, and I do enjoy these characters and the friendship and the sexuality representation as well as the disability representation. But overall, I didn't love this book as much as I was really expecting to, unfortunately. So this was kind of a disappointing sequel, although I will say it wasn't as disappointing as The Song of Wrath, which I recently DNF'd. But anyway, I digress. The point is, I rated this book 3 out of 5 stars, and I didn't love it as much as the first book. I don't know if I would continue this series, probably if she writes more in this universe with these characters, but I would have lower expectations than I would have had for this book. You know what I mean? Anyway, overall, take that as you will. The next book on this list is called If I See You Again Tomorrow. This book is a YA contemporary speculative fiction, I guess. It's following a young gay boy who's stuck in an endless, monotonous time loop until he meets the boy of his dreams. Honestly, for me, I was so excited to read this book. Not so much excited that I put it on my April TBR, but I had higher expectations for this book because this author previously wrote Blame for the Win, which I really enjoyed, and The Sky Blues, which I didn't love, but I liked it better than this book because, frankly, for me, I typically enjoy time loop stories more than this one, and I think it's because the character is stuck in the 309th time for this time loop. So it just got boring really fast, and I didn't really feel like anything changed when he met his love interest, if that makes any sense. So for me, instead of the plot being more intriguing, it just felt more boring and more repetitive. You know what I mean? The main character kept meeting characters over and over again that he's met before, but obviously they don't remember him because to them it's the first time meeting him, if that makes any sense. You guys know how time loops work. But for me, I just didn't love it. So with that said, I couldn't really get behind the romance. I get it, but I also don't. So overall, I didn't love this book really. I don't really know if my review made any sense at all, but basically overall, I rated this book 3 out of 5 stars. I think it's the worst book that I've read by this author. So with that said, take that as you will. The next book on this list is called A Hunger of Thorns. This book is a YA fantasy following a young sapphic main character who must enter a magical forest that nobody else seems to remember exists to rescue her best friend. This book is absolutely so good. I really enjoyed it, to my great surprise, because I've been saying lately that I've been growing out of YA fantasy because they seem like the same story over and over and over again. But for some reason, this book was absolutely so good and so great and so wonderful. Like, first of all, the world building was so magical, so well done, so well developed, and absolutely so fantastic and immersive. The plot was so engaging and so intriguing. The sapphic sexuality representation was so well done, and it felt so natural and so like normal within this universe, if that makes any sense. The characters were all so well developed and so distinct. Literally, this book was so well done. I would highly recommend it. The friendships were so lovely and so like well developed. Like, this book is so good and it's absolutely so underrated, and I just really enjoyed it. So overall, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars, and I would gladly highly recommend it. The last book on this list, and certainly not the least, is called No Boy Summer. This book is a YA contemporary following a young plus-size bisexual main character as she makes a pact with her sister for the summer to not date any boys for the entire summer, except she finds a loophole around it because she falls in love with a girl. This book was so good and so awesome. I really wasn't expecting it to be at all, because the last book that I read by this author, I think I rated 2 stars, but that was like 3 years ago. It was called like We Used to Be Friends or something like that. But anyway, this book was so awesome. The main character's like thought process is so relatable, because like the way that she thinks and the way that this author writes in this book is literally like the way that I think. So the plot was so immersive and so intriguing. This sister relationship made so much sense, and I loved how both of them were such like well-developed, distinct main characters. Like, not main characters because like the story is only narrated in her perspective rather than her sister's as well. But anyway, the point is, I loved both of them as characters, and I also loved her love interest as well. Like, the romance was so cute, so lovely, so wonderful. The friendships felt so authentic and so well done. Literally, this book is so good, and it's so awesome, and it's so underrated, and it deserves so much more hype. So anyway, all that to say, I rated this book 4 out of 5 stars because I really enjoyed it, and with that said, I would definitely highly recommend it. So in conclusion, I hope that April continues to be a great reading month, and I really hope that this video helped diversify your bookshelf, especially since all of these books were queer. But anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please don't hesitate to give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below the ladybug emoji if you made it all the way to the end of the video. Subscribe to my channel if you're new. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!